All right, we're back and we're with the budget build again. This is a 2024 Summit with Adrenaline package, 165. So this is a vehicle you can go to your dealer right now and buy off the showroom floor. If you watched the first video, I got a really good deal on this thing, so I'm really excited. But today, we're gonna go ahead and put the high altitude clutch setting in it, and right from the Ski-Doo spec sheet. So I already had the parts department print me off the spec sheet. So they've already done the homework for you. We're gonna be riding above 8,000 feet, more about 9 to 10, and it will actually show you what to do for a clutch setup. So we're gonna leave the stock spring, stock ramp. This is clicker position. We'll put it into 4. So the big change we're making is we're gonna use 26 millimeter pivot weight. And that's pretty simple. That's gonna ensure that this thing is revving 7,900 RPM, and that's where it makes peak performance. So it's really easy. It's something you can do at home. We're gonna remove the oil access door and remove the side panel. Now there are 5 places. There's this bungee strap right by the oil tank. There's one in the front. There's one in the back. The clip on the gas tank, it's already released. And then there's this little lever here, and there's a handy little instruction, but you press down and pull out. And we're off. This is really simple. Again, that spec sheet is available at your dealer, and you could probably request for them to do this before you pick up the sled. I'm missing my ratchet. It's a Torx T25. And they come with a 33 millimeter, I believe. But here's the pivot bolt here. I always break them loose by hand. Don't want to round them off. It'd be rough getting them out. Sometimes, depending on some of the turbos, come with a washer. Just have a look in there before you pull the bolt out. But once it's out, we don't have to worry about dropping anything. There's nothing to drop inside the clutch. We're going to grab our 26 millimeter pivot bolt. Again, run it in by hand. So we have to line up 3 different parts. And then if you can see here, there's no number indicating clicker position 3. It's this little dash. We're going to roll it to 4 because that's what the spec sheet says. We're in clicker position 4. And now it's snug. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that 2 more times. But while we're in here, they usually come ready to rip. Like, this is great belt deflection. The bottom of the cog is slightly out of the clutch sheath. They come, but I always check when they're new. You could go a little bit tighter, but to break it in, we're going to leave it there. All right, I kind of lied to you. I am going to make a small belt adjustment. We're here. I'm going to show you how to do it. And just by feel, it's a little loose. It's not going to be a ton of performance loss because it is a new belt. It's tight. The clutches are really clean. But the tighter we can run the belt, the more throttle response we're going to have, and the better the clutches are going to work. So it's really handy. A T25 works. If you're on the mountain, your belt tool will fit into this adjuster. You loosen the adjuster. This locks the adjuster on the jack shaft. And we'll loosen this. These are reverse threads. You go to the right until there's a gap here. See, the washer has a little bit of movement here. And then we're going to roll the clutch and allow it to come up next to it. That was a big adjustment. We have a little bit of free play there. I probably went a little too far, but I don't think it's going to cause us any problems, so we're going to start there. So for the first 25 miles or so, I'm going to go really easy on the belt. If I get stuck, I'm going to stop and dig the sled out. I don't want to put any unnecessary heat into this brand new belt. That's going to ensure a long belt life. Okay, one more adjustment we're going to make is I'm going to let the limiter strap out. This is Adrenaline with the Edge package. So we have the short tunnel, the 3-inch track, the 34-inch front end. It's a very capable snowmobile. I would compare it to an in-season X package model. We have the same shock valving, so I want it to be as playful as possible. So I'm going to let the limiter strap out one hole. We can tell by looking at on the floor when it's sitting flat, the front of the rail is up quite a ways, so that's putting a lot of ski pressure on it. So it's not going to wheelie as much and feel that light, playful feeling that I prefer. But this is a really easy adjustment to make. It takes two 10 millimeters. It's a small 6 millimeter bolt, and it's really simple. I do this on the mountain sometimes to make an adjustment, or they make a really cool kit. The frame is already bossed for that accessory, the adjustable limiter strap that the Expert and the Summit X come with stock. But for now, we're just gonna let it out and see how that works first time we ride it. So you can see we're in the fourth hole. We're gonna go to the third. And since we're letting it out, it's a little easier than if we were sucking it up. So we don't have to, shouldn't have to block it with anything. There we go. There's a hole. And if we wanted to shorten it, I usually just set it on a block of wood, or I find a little bump in the snow out on the mountain so I can collapse the front arm just a little bit. And this small change, it's maybe an inch on the strap, it's going to really drastically affect how the snowmobile handles. It's going to feel lighter on the front. It is going to push the front end a little bit on flat corners, but this has a 3-inch track and a 34-inch front end. I want all the deep snow performance I can get. And it's a 165. It's still very manageable in technical terrain, even with the limiter strap let out. In fact, I even let the limiter strap out a hole on my 146 Turbo last year, and you just kind of learn how to ride with it, and it makes it more fun. If you're making a big adjustment to the limiter strap, just make sure you still have some spring tension on that center shock. We have lots of adjustment. I'm going to leave the center shock soft for now. I like the front arm to collapse a little bit in deep snow to get me on top. So we're going to start here and see how we like it out in the mountains. Oh, it's pretty cool. That high altitude clutching really worked. We don't have a ton of snow, but we are getting a good feel for it, and most of all, we're getting really excited. So I can't wait to get this sled in the deep snow. I'm really going to show you guys what it's capable of.